Hey everybody, welcome back. Adam with High Desert Hollow here, coming to you from inside the shop because it's winter in southeastern Idaho and it is cold and nasty outside. Project I got to do today is I have ordered and received some chestnut seeds from newfarmsupply.com, and I'll put a link in the bottom in the description for them. I was super impressed with the service I've got so far and the quality of the product that I've received. So far, great people to work with, really happy. So on with the project. I've got these seeds, and what I need to do with those now is what we call cold stratification. Most nut and fruit trees are this way, and what they need and what they require is a certain amount of chill hours so the seed knows when to sprout when it starts to warm up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps and with the products and stuff that I'll be using to put these in cold stratification. That way they'll be ready to plant next year into the nursery setup that I'm going to end up putting in and building next year. So stay with me. I'm going to go through the process here and kind of step by step, and we'll just go from there. All right, let's go over what we're going to be using here for this process. Just got your basic 1 gallon Ziploc bags. Got a screwdriver. Go over whatever we use that for in a minute. Sharpie marker. Sleeping giant chestnut seeds. Did a little bit of reading into them. These are a cross between an American, Chinese, and Japanese chestnut. So they have a lot of the growth characteristics of the American chestnut, the blight resistance of the Chinese and Japanese chestnut, and they get just super big chestnut seeds. I don't know if you guys can see those or not. Those are awesome. We're really looking forward to, hopefully we can get these to take off here. And they're cold resistant. They're good down to zone 3, which should cover where we're at. It just depends on the year, but I would like to think if we make sure we can baby them that first year, get them established, we shouldn't have a problem from there on out. So what I'm going to do is I have got the Ziploc bag again, and the screwdriver. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to poke some holes in that Ziploc bag. What that is going to do is we need to be able to let some air flow get through into this. Otherwise, these chestnut seeds, they're kind of notorious because they're such a thin-skinned nut that they will actually mold on you really easy if you don't have some airflow there for them. We don't want too big a hole because I don't want to make a mess in Lucy's fridge that bad. It hasn't stopped me before, but I try to stay out of trouble as much as I can. So I've got about 15-20 holes in there, gone all the way through. What I'll do now, I've got an orange bucket here full of damp peat moss is all it is. You don't want it too wet because once again we don't want it to be wet enough that it's going to just make it so those nuts are sitting in molding in there. So what we'll do, I'm going to put some in the bottom there. Not a lot, just enough there in the bottom that we got it covered. And I'm going to take these, and it doesn't really matter if it matters when we plant them, which direction they're going, but you always want to, if you can, orient them. There's a flat side and a round side on all these. You want to orient it so the flat side's down because the root's going to come out this little end, the pointy end, and it's going to start to go down. And then after the root's established, after we plant these outside, after the cold stratification, the actual tree will come out the same place and then turn and go up. And that'll actually leave this on the side. So when we're putting them in cold stratification, I'm still going to try to orient them the way we're going to plant them. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to stack them in there. Just line them up. Not too fancy, nothing crazy. We're just getting them in there. I've got a bunch to do. Like I said, I bought about 5 pounds. I paid for 5 pounds. That New Farm Supply, I'm super happy. I got more than I paid for, I'm sure. I'm sure that bag of it weighed 6 pounds. And they even threw in a free gift. I got some garlic in the box as well, which is cool. We'll end up getting that taken care of too. So far, really happy with the service I got from those guys. Okay, I kind of got a layer of them in the bottom there. Going to put it back here. Now we're just going to put another some more of the peat moss on top of that. We don't want to pack it tight. Just a layer on there so they're kind of surrounded, kind of like they're planted, but they're not. Okay, we're going to do that process again. Just keep going through this. Throw one on the floor, I guess. Like I say, inspecting for any damage. I've only found one or two that's got, kind of looks like they got a little crack in them or something. Nothing major, not a big deal. I'll end up just eating those without planting them. Okay, we're going to end up putting another layer on. Just making a mess all over. It's a good thing I'm not in the house. Kind of nice being sitting out here in the shop, having this available to me. Got a fire burning in the wood stove. Got the workbenches. That was one of the nicest things of moving out here to High Desert Hollow. Besides the property and getting to be out of town and stuff, is it already came with the shop, which, and at our old place, I did all my work out of a little single car garage, not any room to really get anything done, and we ended up moving out here and we have this. I was sold when I saw the shop, so pretty fortunate that way. Okay. That's the last layer of chestnuts for this bag. Gonna put just a last topping coat of the peat moss in here. Make sure we're good and covered. Want to make sure we got, yeah, there we go. Okay. Clean that zipper off. Okay, now this part's fairly important because if you guys' memory is anything like mine, we're in trouble. But is I'm going to write today's date on here. That way when they're in the fridge, I've got a bunch of different stuff cold stratifying in the fridge. I've got some peach seeds, I've got plum seeds, I got apple seeds, and now I'm going to have chestnut, and they're all kind of in the same sort of configuration. So what I'm going to do, and this is the only kind of chestnut I have, so I don't need to worry about labeling the specific type of chestnut that I've got going. But what I'll do is I'll end up writing the date, today's date, and that it's a chestnut. So we're looking at 12/7 chestnut. That way I know I can keep an eye on it, and I'll periodically check them in the fridge as we go. But I'll be able to keep an eye and then kind of get the idea. We're looking at a couple months. I don't know the exact chill hour dates right off the top of my head, times, how long it's going to be. But with this date on here, I'll be able to keep checking them periodically. When I start to see some growth, we'll know we're getting close. I'm hoping that I'm timing it about right, that we can plant them directly outside. I don't want to have to do into the nursery setup I'll be setting up this next spring. I don't want to have them in pots inside under grow lights and then worrying about getting them outside. I want them right into the nursery outside where I can control the irrigation and I don't have to worry about all the other hassle with the grow lights and stuff like that. So we'll do that. I've got a bunch more to do. I'll have multiple bags done here when it's all said and done, and then we'll come back when we go inside and begin to put it in the fridge. We've got all the chestnuts bagged up. We're back in the house now. We're actually in my utility room, and I've got an extra fridge here that we've kept. We just use it for overflow stuff. We don't have room in the other fridge. But I also get to use this one for my different projects like this. So what we're going to do, you can see it's pretty well empty. There's a couple things in it. But I'm just going to use this crisper drawer because it's already empty. We've got the chestnuts in their Ziploc bags. I got 4 bags total when it was all said and done. See if we can get them all in the one drawer. If not, I'll have to see if I can get the other one in. Alright. They're all in. So that's where those are going to stay until this coming spring when we get the appropriate amount of chill hours, and they start to sprout and get them moved outside. All right, everybody. That's kind of the basics of cold stratification. We went over the steps we go through and what we used, and everything from getting it put together into the Ziploc bags and then into the fridge. And now all we got to really do is give it some time. Let those chestnut seeds get the required amount of chill hours. And hopefully this spring we'll get a good germination rate. We'll get those chestnut seeds moved out of the cold stratification bags into the nursery setup we're going to end up building outside, and hopefully letting them grow out there and be able to relocate them throughout the property. So if this is something you're interested in, highly recommend doing it. It's an inexpensive way to get into a lot of trees, as long as you're willing to give it the time to let them grow out and get it kind of a little bit established. If you do want to do it, highly recommend going down and over and seeing Grant at newfarmsupply.com. He's got everything you need for nut trees, different fruit bushes, even living fences. Also the tools you need to get all of it put together, from tree growing tubes to grafting tools. That being said, look forward in the future for a review video on the grafting tool that I did order from Grant. So far, just by quick looking at it, looks like a great tool. We're going to end up using the heck out of it. We've got a bunch of different apple trees we're going to end up doing here, and going from there. So if you like this kind of thing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You'll end up getting the most up-to-date videos I put out. But anyways, other than that, we're just here trying to live a more self-reliant lifestyle and promote modern homesteading. Adam with High Desert Hollow, signing out.